Welcome back. Today in our Sunday Spotlight, wine sales in grocery stores. A study out of Yukon finds that nearly 82% of Connecticut residents support a change in state law to allow it to happen. But the state legislature has yet to approve such a proposal. Melissa Zoni is the store director for Big Y in Derby. She's here to tell us about a campaign to get wine sales allowed in stores. It's called CT Wine Now. Melissa, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
So there are proposals in the legislature, as there have been every year since I think the legislature was created. I joked with you before we started. I started at Channel 3 in 2004 and covered this issue then. What's different now, in your opinion, and what do you want people to know?
So, as you stated earlier, over 80% of consumers want this. It's a convenience for them. We are a locally owned company. And as long as everybody else, you know,
that's someone that would want to sell it.
Correct.
So tell me about the effort, because there are some changes that have happened. There's some restrictions on how the law would work, limits on who could do it and what wines could be sold.
Sure.
What's the current proposal?
Sure. So so we wouldn't be able to sell everything that the package store sells. We would have a very slim variety of it, which again, will not hurt our package stores because the consumer is going to just come in, you know, have whether it's a local wine, things of that nature, and be able to grab it.
So the reason this has been out there for such a long period of time is that there is fervent opposition from the package store lobby, which is a powerful lobby in Connecticut. Our friend Dan Haar, who works for CT Insider and their newspapers, he's a columnist. I read his column when there was a hearing on this bill back in February. He said it was the largest crowd at the Capitol since COVID, with people on both sides of it, you know, coming out to say their piece. What's the argument? A lot of, you know, you talked about Big Y being a locally owned company. The argument from package stores are they're in many cases mom and pop shops, in many cases, you know, and this is right from their lobbyists, so I'm giving you their side, maybe the last small business on Main Street in some towns in Connecticut. Big Y, locally owned, but a different entity.
Absolutely.
So what's the argument when they say, listen, it's going to hurt us if you make that change?
We sell beer. It never hurt them. In Tennessee, before they were able to sell wine in Tennessee, there's about 600 package stores. Once the stores were able to sell it in the grocery stores, now there's over 740 package stores in Tennessee. It doesn't hurt. We're not there to close the package stores. We're there to help our consumers again. I'm a mom of 2 young children. When I go grocery shopping, I want to be able to just grab one of those local bottles of wine or whatever that wine may be at the time to go with my dinner, so I don't have to load my kids into the car, unload them. And I don't really want to take them to the package store. If I'm going to go to the package store, it's going to be with my kids at home. So.
You talked about you keep saying local wine, and maybe one of the reasons for that is one of the things in the latest proposal that's still out there, hasn't gotten through the legislature, was a limit on production by these wineries if they want to be sold in a store, which would, you know, the supporters have said would encourage smaller wineries to be able to participate, right? So it's 100,000 is what the number is, and that would be who you could sell. What's the restriction? It's how much they produce, right?
Correct, exactly. And it's going to help those local wineries or those smaller with the economy. Just going to help them produce more, which is then going to help hire more employees. So at the end, there's no loss to it. So. And
you cited it, we cited it in the intro to this piece, this Yukon study. Fred Carsonen, who's an economist at Yukon, he's a legend in doing these things, and he said he could find no evidence that there would be damage to package stores. 82% of people said that they support it. The package stores would say the other limitation would be no stores could sell wine within 1,000 feet of a package store. And they say, well, of course, that's admitting that you're going to hurt us if you can't be close to us. So is that something, you know, you talked about being the mom and out shopping for wine. Do you buy that argument?
So, no. So what's wrong with friendly competition? We have to compete. One of our biggest profitable items is in the food service department. We have to compete with restaurants within 1,000 feet and miles. And convenience stores, things of that nature. So why is it not a fair playing field for the package stores to also do a little friendly competition with us as well?
And do you think that the limits on what you can sell maybe put them in a different spot? I mean, if they want to be the sommelier who recommends the rare vintage, that might be different from what you're trying to do at Big Y?
Absolutely, 100%. We're there, again, not to close down a business. We're there to help our consumers. So the smaller setup that we'll have or the amount that we'll carry. We're not professionals in wine. We're not. We sell the beer, we sell the groceries. We're professionals in groceries, but if a customer were to say, hey, what can I pair with this brie? They're like, oh, well, try the red.
Yeah.
Which red, I don't know. So that's why the package stores will come in when somebody wants a special wine to go with a special cheese or a special meal. They'll still go to those package stores. They'll still do that piece of it. So,
is there a parallel there from beer sales that maybe customers aren't coming in and saying, Melissa, can you tell me which IPA would be best for my tailgate on Sunday? Is that maybe not the kind of thing that you're doing at Big Y either?
Correct. It's an impulse thing as well. So somebody may just come in just for that Twisted Tea or that Busch Light to go with their bag of chips, right? Because they know what they're coming in for. They know what they want.
We only have about 30 seconds left. So what do you, if people agree with what you've just said, we have 30 seconds, what do you want them to do?
Go to ctynow.com. It takes literally 10 seconds to grab your smartphone, go to ctynow.com, put your name in there, hit submit. It's already a pre-drafted letter to your legislator. You may not know who your legislator is, but once you put your address in, hit submit.
All right. Melissa Zoni from Big Y in Derby, thanks for being with us and explaining all this.
Thank you.
And that is CT23 for this week. Of course, CBS Sunday Morning will be up next. Have a great rest of your weekend. We will, of course, meet you back here in Studio A next Sunday morning.